And WeChat will soon be banned from the app stores. Starting Sunday, if you're in the U.S., you won't be able to download those apps. Federal authorities are forcing platforms like Google and Apple to remove them due to President Trump's executive order. The White House says the apps, which are owned by a Chinese-based company, are a security threat. TikTok plans to sell its U.S. operations to Oracle in an effort to get around that ban, but the deal still needs approval.
So joining us now to talk about the TikTok situation is Dr. Maurice Dawson Jr., Director of IIT Center for Cybersecurity. Thanks for joining us, Doctor.
Pleasure to be here.
Question, is this a security threat? Why are we worried about this, or should we be worried about this?
Well, I mean, we should be worried about this, but we should also be worried about the numerous other apps that were taken down online. So there are more things to worry about. So yes, you have an app that is out of China. It could be backed by a particular organization, but it's not the only app. And so I think it's important that app stores, both Google and Apple, start labeling the potential security threats associated with that particular software. So if they required a source code analysis looking at whatever it's called common vulnerabilities and exposures that were associated with that application, then an individual could make a choice to say, all right, well, I wouldn't download this app and use it, but I know that it has these CVEs associated with it. When you look at other apps, we'll talk LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn has been on the news numerous times because Chinese spies have used it for espionage. Are we taking down LinkedIn? No, we aren't. So we really have to think about what will this mean? And there are reports that talk about how software code is a form of freedom of speech. So what this means is that this will probably be drawn out in court over a long period. So even though you...
Does TikTok get more information from us than, say, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram?
Well, that's the thing. So there were some CVEs that were brought about that TikTok fixed, but numbers of these tools are pulling data, right? So in the data, the age of data, right? Everything data driven. We're giving data to use the app for free. We don't necessarily know who's pulling more or who's pulling less, but we do know, in particular with sites such as Facebook and stuff like that, the amount of data that is given to those sites, because these are data-driven sites. You may not be paying in terms of cash, but you're paying in terms of data.
So if you say TikTok is the lesser of many evils, could this be politically motivated? What is the reason? Why is this being targeted?
Well, one, I think TikTok could be politically motivated, and there could be some other vulnerabilities, but what I'm saying is not just this one particular app. There are numerous apps out there that exist that have vulnerabilities that are not being addressed that still you can get on Google Play.
What are some of the other
App
ones?
Store.
What are some of the other ones?
One of the other ones was the aging app that they had that basically said in the end user license agreement, if they take photos of you or use it to for them to take photos, that they would actually use those photos later in advertisements. The trick is the end user license agreement states all the stuff that you are giving up to use that app.
And no one reads those agreements, yeah.
No, and TikTok is used by a lot of teens, and then in the time of COVID, we are all at home with nothing to do. So right. TikTok is sort of the thing that kind of buys us time in the meantime. So you have that. And then plus, when you upload an app to the store, there is no requirement to meet a certain threshold or baseline security requirements. All right, well, I need to make sure that the password is not stored in the clear, meaning that you can just look at the particular code or the traffic and see the password in plain text. It's not encoded or scrambled somehow. There is not that. The other thing is, even if the actual app is banned, that only means that that users can't get new downloads.
Yeah, if you've got it already, you can keep using it, right?
Yes, but even more, you can sideload apps. Like so when Huawei was banned from using the App Store. Not a big deal if you know how to sideload an app. You can go through your phone, disable some settings, and say, all right, well, you want to download from an untrusted source. So you can just sideload it and run that app. So
that's a whole other segment, is sideloading apps.
Jailbreak our phones. Thanks a lot, Dr. Dawson. We appreciate it.
I'm sorry.
You were great.
Be safe, be well.
Thanks for joining us.